Are we ready?
Hello, how you doing?
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the City of District Heights City Meeting. It is Thursday, December the 5th, 2024, and it is 7:02 p.m., and I call this meeting to order. So we will have the Pledge of Allegiance from Commissioner Tillman.
All right.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We will have our opening prayer from Commissioner Janifer.
Thank you, Mayor. If I can ask everyone to please bow your heads and close your eyes. Father God, we thank you for bringing us here together this evening to do the city's work. We ask that you guide us in making decisions that are in the best interest of all. We ask that you please bless these young people that are here with us today and all the residents and residents and staff that are here with us this evening. We ask that as we move into the Christmas holiday, that you will bless each and every one of us. In Jesus' name, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you for that, Commissioner Janifer. So has everyone had a chance to review the agenda for tonight? I know we have one, we added one motion to include recess. So we are amending to add the motion for recess for the commission. So could I get a motion?
Commissioner Harcourt moved to approve the amended agenda as provided.
Could I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. Thank you for that. Next, we have public comment. Do we have any public comments? Okay, thank you. So next, we have recognition from District Heights Elementary School officers. Please welcome them, everyone. Please welcome them.
Sorry. Good evening, everyone. Mayor, Commission, residents. My name is Tanisha Turner. I'm the Community Outreach Coordinator here at the great city of District Heights. I had the pleasure of going over to District Heights Elementary School and our District Heights Cares Initiative. And I spoke with Ms. Casarubias, their community school coordinator, and she told me that they had elections going on. So I was like, oh, that's exciting. So she invited us out to actually hear the candidates and hear their speeches. And also she invited us out to announce the winners. So Commissioner Janifer actually had the opportunity to go over to the school, was it last Monday?
Yes.
Was it last Monday? Did you want to speak a little bit about your experience there on that day?
Yes, I was able to meet all of the officers, all of the individuals, the candidates that were running for office, and I just expressed how proud I was of all of them, because it does take a lot for these individuals to stand up and say, I want to help. And I spoke with all of them and to ask them why they wanted to run for office, and it was just so fascinating to hear all of the different reasons why, but at the end of the day, they just want to be able to help their students. And I said, these are the future leaders here in this room. All of those candidates were the future leaders. So I'm just so proud of all of them, and I hope you as parents are so proud of your children.
Yes.
So I would like to call up each student, just so that we can recognize you. We have a little something for you.
Okay.
Okay. First up, we have Eliza, that's the president.
Congratulations. So for your outstanding achievement and dedication, being elected as president at elementary school, exemplifying leadership, commitment, and excellence in service to the school community. Congratulations. We do have a lapel pin here for you that you could wear as a proud president of District Heights Elementary. Okay. Congratulations. Can we get a picture
With his parents?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Let's come on.
This is yours. You want to take your coat off? You feel more comfortable now? Take your coat off. Okay. So, come on over.
Yep, you just stand right here.
Stand in front of here. Hold your certificate, and I guess you can just put this in your pocket. Let's just put it in.
All right. 1, 2, 3. Cheese. All right.
Okay, so I really want the other commissioners to come, Vice Mayor. We all spend a lot of time in District Heights Elementary, and you can be a part of the process.
Yep.
You gotta shift a little bit so that we're centered.
Oh, you smile.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Couple more. Perfect.
Congratulations.
You can stay put together.
Yeah.
Yep, we're going to stay put, yes. All right, next up, we have Araceli. She's a vice president. There you go, you're welcome. All right.
What was her title again?
Vice
I'm gonna
president.
read it. I'm gonna read. For your outstanding achievement and dedication being elected as Vice President at District Heights Elementary School, exemplifying leadership, commitment, and excellence in service to the school community. Congratulations. So, we want your family to come up. These are great memories for you all.
All right. Smile. Lower it just a little bit so you're hiding your face. There you go. All right. Look up. One more. Perfect.
All right.
All right, and then.
I'm sorry.
All right. Keep smiling. Perfect. All right.
All right, next up, we have Alejandro, the secretary.
Outstanding achievement and dedication for being elected as secretary at District Heights Elementary School, exemplifying leadership, commitment, and excellence in service to the school community. Congratulations. Parents,
Got everybody? Yeah, great. All right, smooth this in just a little bit. Perfect, perfect. Pictures, couple more. Cheese. All right.
okay, commissioners, vice mayor. I'm gonna try to get through this.
Okay, couple more. Perfect.
All right. Congratulations. Okay, congratulations.
All right, next up, we have Sebastian, it's ambassador.
Are you excited? Okay. Outstanding achievement and dedication being elected as ambassador. Wow. District Heights Elementary School, exemplifying leadership, commitment, and excellence in service to the school community. Congratulations. Get up here.
Where's his pen?
I'm gonna give it to him.
Wants it.
All right. Couple things. Smile. Couple more. Good. All right, everybody. Moving just a little bit more. Perfect, thank you. All right, just a few more. Great.
All right, here's your certificate. Congratulations, Mr. Ambassador.
All right, next up, we have Taylor.
Congratulations.
What is her job?
So
She's
she,
ambassador.
outstanding achievement and dedication being elected as ambassador at the District Heights Elementary School, exemplifying leadership, commitment, and excellence in service to the school community. Congratulations.
Come on, Mom.
Mom.
Oh, is it?
All
right, look up and smile. Perfect. Look up, smile. One more. Perfect. Thank
All right,
you.
congratulations.
All right, but last but not least, Miss Moot Mayanat as ambassador.
Let's get you ready. Picture ready. Picture ready. Outstanding achievement and dedication being elected as ambassador at District Heights Elementary School, exemplifying leadership, commitment, and excellence in service to the school community. Congratulations. You got gloves on, is it cold in here?
All right, smile. One more. Perfect.
Okay, so.
Couple more. Smile, please. Perfect.
Congratulations. Let's give them a round of applause. So our officers and parents are welcome to stay for our meeting, but please don't feel obligated to stay. I know you probably had a long day, but thank you for letting us be a part of this process, and it's exciting. So thank you for coming here. So it's totally up to you if you want to stay.
Don't feel guilty.
No.
They get
We
long.
gotta get those babies home.
They get long.
Get the babies home.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you again. Thank you so much again.
Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Blanca.
We can't let people feel guilty.
I know, I was like.
Thank you.
Here until 10 o'clock.
I know. Thank you, Mayor. We need to get those babies home.
Okay. Next agenda item is department reports, treasurer, staff Cecilia Smith-Budd, deputy treasurer.
If I may, we do have a guest from Prince George's County to give a report, and I would like to get them out of here at a reasonable time as well.
Oh, we have a guest. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. You could come to the podium, introduce yourself.
Thank you so much. My name is Mary Abe. I am the Deputy Associate Director in the Sustainability Division at the Department of the Environment. And I am also a registered landscape architect with over 35 years' experience. And so what I'm going to talk about next is something I'm very passionate about, which are trees, which I think, do we have the, going to go on there for a second. There we go. Okay, now I can see it. So it's actually appropriate that we had the kids here before, because really what this is about, the trees that we're talking about, is about their future, because you plant them now, it's going to make a difference. So next slide. So we started working with with David Street, I guess it was about a year ago, trying to locate where we could potentially put trees free of charge to the city of District Heights in your right-of-ways and public spaces. And the reason that we are really doing this is because of climate change and the vulnerability of our more urban communities. And so this is what this is about, is trying to have a sustained street canopy and street and trees and private spaces, wherever we can get them. So next slide. So this is what this is about. Was about the climate action plan. And again, this is one of our actions here. So what I'm going to talk about briefly is the size of the trees that we will be putting in, which are approximately 5 to 7-year-old trees, which are about 2-inch caliber trees. And so that kind of gives you a perspective. All the trees that we're talking about following this are actually native trees. They're native to the Mid-Eastern United States. So that's why we choose them. They're better suited, and they're also not invasive. Next slide. Just kind of a sample of what happens. This is about the size that they go into. This is about 15 years from now, and that's a tree that's about 20 feet in size. So trees are an investment of time. You're not going to get this, which is what's going to do those kids some good, unless we put those trees in now, and that's why there's a sense of urgency. Next slide. And so this is the size of an ornamental tree. One of the things that we have, I live in the town of Mount Rainier, and we love our trees, but we can't have them because we have a lot of utility lines, and you are no different. And so what I wish I could do as a landscape architect is line your streets with shade trees that formed like a canopy, but unfortunately, because of the utilities, we have to kind of stagger them, and then you put ornamental trees that go under the line. But I would say, I'm always going to put a plug in that, if you can ever hear about underground and utilities, let's all get on board and start voicing that, because
We've been
that,
trying.
yeah, it's so expensive. It's so, but the district did it, we can do it, and so every chance I get, I voice about that, because we're never going to have a good canopy in our inner part of our beltway until we solve that problem. So that's my little take my resident hat off and put my county hat back on again. Next slide. This is kind of a sample. These are red buds. They're kind of the smaller, kind of a native variety. Next slide. And what we did, one of my team members, Milan, and a group of consultants were out here over the summer, and we were geolocating where we believed that we could put trees. And we'd actually had the utilities called, and we went. We actually found 4,000 locations where we could actually put trees. We recently, this past year, we worked with the town of Forest Heights, and we put in 1,600 street trees throughout there. However, we learned a lot of very, very valuable lessons with that, is that just because we want to put trees in, and even if the council wants to do, and the mayor, a lot of our residents are not really psyched about putting a tree in front of their yard. So what we've done now is we've kind of pulled back a little bit in the program, and we're taking a different approach where, well, I'll show you what we're going to do next. Next slide. So this is what this is all part of our program where we go and we basically geolocate. And this is part of our plan, so that once we put these trees in, we're going to come back and actually geolocate their locations so we can track their health, and then work with your green team or whoever else to try to take care of the trees. So every time we put a tree in through our program, it's going to end up in the county's GIS system, because it's an asset. It really is. So next slide. So what we decided to do is we met with David, and again, we have quite a few trees that we'd like to put in, and actually we're going to go for a very large grant while they're here with CBT this coming January, with that I would really like to work with District Heights to put in as many of those thousands of trees as we can. So that's an application we're going to do in January. But in the meantime, what I've done is I walked through and we did a planting plan, or we walked with David around the town hall. And basically, this is what I'm going to show you. So this is, I guess you could say, the approach we're taking now is we're trying to do a demonstration area, so that if, as the community becomes, if we start to engage the community into right-of-way tree plantings, we would actually set up here or show people where their property line would be. And then if they had a question about the type of trees that they would get, then it's right here in the town hall so we could see it. Because that's what we're recognizing, is that a lot of times, especially with street tree plantings and things like that, even though the town has a significant right-of-way, many of our homeowners don't recognize that that's actually the town's versus theirs. So that takes some time. So what we would do is an opt-out period. So this is it's a longer process. When we worked with Forest Heights, we did it literally within a couple of months. And we got it in, but there was a lot of hiccups. And so this time around, lessons learned, and we really want to do it right with District Heights, take our time, start off with a gathering space, and then really work with the town through an opt-out period that's very, very explicit, so that you guys are not getting calls or someone's yanking a plant out of the ground. So we're kind of slowing it down. So what I'm showing you is going to be what we would like it to be as our first phase. Next slide. So in talking with David, we walked around the sports field, and this was also one of the things that we had spoken about, growing our own, where the county has put an application into EPA, and we're still waiting for that to see if we could start a native plant nursery that's mobile. So that's some of the things that how I did the kind of the layout here that's really kind of quick and dirty, is because if something does happen, I don't want to tree places that we might want to work with you all to work with that. But the way our program works is we don't say this is exactly going to be a red bud right here because we have to work on availability because we put in literally thousands of trees. And so how we try to do it is we say, we're going to put a small tree, a small ornamental, a medium-sized shade tree, a large shade tree, but there'll always be oaks, maples, different sorts of things. And as a landscape architect, I tend to group them so that they have a sense of space, which you oftentimes see in plantings now because of the Dutch elms disease, which is what had many of our streets. We had all of them and they were beautiful, but then they died from the disease. And so now the best practices is to mix tree species, so you have variety. But from a spatial sense, I like to group things a little bit more. So you'll start to see that even though this looks a little bland, there'll be plenty of interest in it. But again, we can provide you with the list of plants that we have, but we just don't necessarily say that's exactly where that tree is going, that's the exact type, but it'll be a native, it'll be the certain size. One thing we can do, and we did it for Fairmount Heights, and we did it for Forest Heights, if you would like a Christmas tree, like a lot of times people like ceremonial trees and things like that. So if there's a really nice special location, you know, that you want something that's very specific, we can put something in there for you. So, you know, just bear that in mind so that when you're looking at this. So basically what this is just kind of showing the lay of the land where I thought, David had said that you really wanted some screening up there. Down by the field, it looks like a lot of people actually gather there, so I didn't put trees there, and he was talking about potentially grading that out into benches at some point, so you can't really put trees in there. So next slide. And this is kind of up in the front. Now, one of the things that he had mentioned was that the slope and the lot is quite steep. So one of the things we can do for you is we can put trees in there, but you can only put, the slope is so steep that it's very difficult to do it, but what we can do is put suckering shrubs in there so that it takes the lawn up. So that's something that, when you see those boxes represent about 20 different types of shrubs. So again, what we're trying to go to is something that's kind of an organized naturalization, but then takes the lawn away. And then these are the different types of trees. And then over in here, screening from the playground area for this neighbor over here. We can add some flexibility so that once I walk the site with David and make sure he's happy with where things are and you all are happy with it, we can kind of massage things around. Next slide. And so these are just the variety of the different types of trees that we can put in. They're kind of your standard natives. Next slide. And these are the other types of varieties, like down below. Those are the tree slope shrubs that we can put in that would be in that area. Our contractor is the Clean Water Partnership, and they work with Empire Landscaping, which is a woman-owned business. And so that's who our contractor is. And so when we come in, we'll come in mass, have the plants delivered and put it in, basically because we're working in just one spot. I did talk about going in some places in the streets, but I'm kind of pulling back a little bit until I learn about whether or not we can do this native plant nursery, because one way or the other, I think the county is going to probably do it, and so that's a whole nother sidebar conversation. Next slide. So I'm going to just quickly go through this because I know you guys are quite green, and that's one of the other reasons that's really cool about working with District Heights is that I know I have a willing audience. But just to quickly go through, you can go to next slide. Just as a reminder, reduces your temperatures, and that is the core reason why we want to put these trees in here. But there is another reason, and they are sponges for water, and that's another thing. You guys have a lot of springs and high water tables, and so one of your reeds, I'll catch it in a second. Next slide. It's just, it basically, when you put a tree in, it does help with your property values. I mean, it's really true. I've done a study before where you look at a property in Montgomery County, which is a tree-lined street, almost identical tree, home stock across the border in Prince George's County, but doesn't have street trees. There's a difference in price. And the same is true of the District of Columbia. I live right on the border of Eastern Avenue, and I go across the boundary, and it's different. And it does come down to how the trees and scape and how people think about things. Next slide. reduces crime. Now, my very good, it really does, because I guess you could say if a tree is well-maintained, then the neighborhood looks more well-maintained. And I think what people need to understand, that when you put these types of street trees in, you're limbing them up and so that you can view underneath, and so it's not like you can't see the house. But that is a perception problem that a lot of people do understandably have an issue with, because trees are sometimes considered someone could hide behind it. And that's another reason why we want to try to do this next project in a more kind of elongated way. Next slide. And then carbon sequestration, that goes back to the climate. And the more we put trees in, the more it sequesters carbon. In the next slide. And localized flooding, I think you know that, but again, there's real sponges, and I think that's my last slide. Or, yes, I think that is my last slide. So that's essentially what it is. We'd like to put approximately 200 trees in around the town hall. We have sites for almost 4,000 trees throughout the rest of your community, and so that's what I'm really going to try to, if it works for you, I would really like to put you forward for the CBT grant that the county will ask for funding to continue this effort, and I think it would be like a 2-year plan we would do it.
Ms. Mary didn't mention this, but the other conversations that we've had, the commission will find familiar from conversations you've had from gardeners at Fiesta Place. So we've talked about, where might be appropriate places for cooling groves, for things like that. And so we're kind of working through that process and are not quite ready to present something like that, but the city does have some good islands in right-of-way. Think of places where we've put sidewalk, benches, other installations that could be, leveraged for these forward-thinking types of placements with a purpose, right? So we're not planting trees for the sake of planting trees, even though we love trees in District Heights. They serve a secondary focus. I believe we've also had knock-on conversations about how we can approach the elementary school. And
Yes.
so I wanted to make sure that the commission was looped in on that as well.
Okay, so one of the things, again, lessons learned from Forest Heights. This time, what we would like to do when we start doing the right-of-way plannings is to prioritize the walks to school. And then that way, the community starts to buy in that not only are you putting trees in, but you're putting trees in for the kids to walk to school. So that might be the first phase. And then based on what David was saying, like you do have some wonderful public right-of-ways that where it's a clean corridor that we could create a really lovely space for somebody to walk through that's actually a good green space. So the way we would phase it is we would do the routes to school first and do those right-of-way plantings, work with the community that's in there so that as we're doing it, if a resident says, why are you putting this tree in front of my house, I can say, hey, we're putting this tree so the kids have a green walk to school. And then from there, that buys us time to start to work through the community to notify people that we have trees that we would like to put in front of your street. If you're interested, please come to, for instance, we might have it in the middle of a Saturday. We'd set up shop, have our computer, and say, this is what you're going to put in front of your house. Is that okay? And if not, you opt out. But again, because of the number of trees that we could potentially put in your community, it's definitely going to be a little bit of a longer haul to get there. But I would say also, too, that because we're working with the Clean Water Partnership, to what David was saying, is that stormwater management is going to be a major part of this. One of the things that we would like to do is the innovative tree trench, which is basically, it's a system in which the storage is underground, and it takes the stormwater, but the trees grow from the runoff from the streets. It's a practice that's been used in Philadelphia with great success. And so rather than having an open bioretention area, you're using the stormwater to really grow those trees permanently. And so it becomes a win-win situation. And in fact, we identified several different places where you could also do a road diet, where we could also start to work with you on that. So those are all things that do take time, and that's another reason why we're just trying to slow it down so we can work with the town, come up with the plan, and then implement it. So that's essentially it. What I've shown you tonight is what we would like to do as our first step right now. And again, the implementation for this would actually be in the winter. which is the best time to plant. So that would be, and then what we would do, we would get notified of the grant from CBT probably sometime in about, I'm thinking, probably around April. And then that would set us up for working with the town from April through the summer and do a huge planting in the fall. So that's the sequence of how we're thinking it. And then it buys me some time to work with the town to find some stormwater management opportunities, because that takes permitting and a lot more time.
And with that, we have started to pursue kind of parallel conversations with CBT about, hey, we have some flooding and washout issues, particularly along District Heights Parkway. And so where we're headed is probably a holistic solution to that, but, you know, that does take time. And so we're trying to see what we can get done incrementally to address as much for residents as we can in the short term.
We're also supporting a community garden too through DOE, so I know that, I believe you're trying to. So there's a lot of different ways that, you know, I don't want to take too much of your time, but the point would be is we're really, when we come into a community to do the tree plantings, we're not just coming in to do the tree plantings, we're trying to leverage everything that the county can bring to the table, but it will take partnership to do that. But in the end, I think we'll end up with a really nice, cohesive, as David said, a holistic plan that addresses shade, temperature, stormwater, all the different sorts of things that your town needs. So, any questions?
Okay, great presentation. Looking forward to more trees. Any questions from the commission?
I have
do.
a question. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you
No.
were. First of all, thank you so much for coming out and giving us this presentation. I love trees, but I don't know if a plan has been put down on paper that the residents can see where the proposals are for where the trees would go. I know that on our main strip of Kipling Parkway, we've gotten some new trees there, and I know folks are excited about those. I don't know if additional trees are being planned for that area as well. But I would really like to see the plan for the trees, because that sounds like a lot of trees, but
It
it's
is.
going to be, the photographs of the trees are absolutely beautiful. So bringing the different colors to the community, I think it would be definitely a win-win. And coming from EPA, I understand the whole impact of trees. So, yeah, the educational component that you mentioned as well would be great for our community as the trees would come in if we were recipient of the grant.
We do have planned for your entire town. It's multiple sheets and sheets and sheets. And basically, in that slide presentation I showed you, they were just kind of a geolocated spot. And so what happens is we go through the plan as we do, perhaps if I do 2,500 trees, I would get into more depth and do the actual planting plan. But we do know where the location is, and we actually went and called Miss Utility. So the locations are actually very, very well done. So that when our team went out in the field and they geolocated. But that's the sort of thing where I'm happy to do a work session with you, you know, if it needs to be, doesn't need, you know, an informal work session. And because the other thing is with that many trees, we need to face it. You know, how do you face something like that? And then how do you want to do the opt-out period? Because there will be people that are not going to want to put those trees in. I'm really hopeful that we can get those folks to get on board, because that's the whole purpose is this, you know, a tree in your yard helps your neighbor, it helps everybody. But, you know, again, that is a realistic expectation that we understand that we have.
One other question I had was, I know that there was a program whereas residents that wanted to get a tree on their private property. I don't know if that's something that's available to us.
It is something that the county is working hard. This is the problem. We do the right-of-way in the public space because we don't need, we can work with the town for the right of access. It's more difficult when a county program goes into an individual. Now, that said, we are trying to work with nonprofits to stand them up so that they can come in and put the trees in. But that's actually on my list of performance things I have to do this year, is crack that nut. But really, with that sort of thing, we would want to work directly with the town and advertise it, and say, would you also like a tree on your property? And then we'll have the proper, I guess you could say, the contractual easements. Because what we don't, this is a county, well, it's a government. If you get a right of access, it's almost like you have to sign away your first child. And we don't want people to come away with that attitude. So that's what we're working on, a less onerous, I guess you could say, right of access that would allow us to come in and put those trees in, so people felt like the government was doing something good for them versus taking something from them. It wouldn't be a permanent act, it was just a right of access just to put the tree in.
Thank you, I'm done, thank you, Mayor.
Commissioner Harcourt, you have a
Thank you,
question?
Madam Mayor. I do. I think, and I also think part of the issue why a lot of residents don't want the trees is because of the roots and the perception that the roots would have issues with the sewers and
Yes.
the sidewalks.
Yes.
They don't understand that these natives usually have shallower root systems and that they don't impact the sewage and the sidewalks like some of these other, like willows and things like that.
Well, when we do the utility markings, we're intentionally looking at the laterals that go into the house, and so because that's what you really have to be worried about, is each lateral. And actually, the trees that we tend to really like, that are the big trees, are things like the oaks, which have a taproot. That's why you see oaks many times on the street, because they go straight down as opposed to out. So the other thing is that when you put trees in a residential, everybody likes oaks and sycamores and things like that, but they get really big. And so when we start to work with residential, we're gonna limit it to medium-sized to small trees, just because you just don't want to have all that investment and then, 10, 15 years down the road, somebody wants to whack it down because it's gotten too big. But yes, your point is that the trees that we select are intentionally selected because they do well in urban scenarios. I'm not going to kid you, there's going to be battles between the sidewalk and the trees. It's always part of the game. But that's why there's certain setbacks from the lateral lines that we make sure that we do it, so that we're not interfering with the utilities.
Any other questions from the commission?
I just have a comment,
Sure, Vice Mayor.
just to say that I like this measured approach and appreciate you all adopting lessons learned from Forest Hills and adopting that to your plan for District Heights. I know that we've planted a number of trees on Kipling Parkway and Marbury, and we haven't had much feedback. So I think a little bit surprisingly so. I think we anticipated some phone calls that we did not receive. However, that was not necessarily on that sidewalk. So it's definitely something to take into consideration, how we want to sort of plan that opt-out period and the information that we want to share out to residents to make sure that they are making an informed decision either way. So I just wanted to say I appreciate the measured approach. I look forward to planning out these phases. I mean, we have 4,000 is a large number. It sounds a bit daunting, but I do want to remind everyone that we have been also removing large and hazardous trees for the last 2 years. DPW has collected a list of those locations, and we plan to continue to do that. So we're taking a planned and measured approach as we add, and we're also taking stock of our current tree inventory and making sure that it's also fitting in with that plan as we go forward. So.
As a note, when we do our geolocation, we are noting the existing trees as well. So you will have a cohesive plan at the end of this, that you'll know where everything is geolocated, and we actually have an app that we would like to start sharing with the green teams to help with the maintenance or the just keeping up with the trees, and that it becomes kind of like a stewardship deal. So, it's not like they have to do something, but if they see a problem, they can take a picture, they can notify, it can be uploaded. So everything that we're trying to do it in such a way that it's a holistic, again, I guess that's an overused word, but it is true. It's like a cycle And that, and again, that's what we're learning, is that you can come in and put the trees in and walk away, but, there's gonna be a lot of questions. So we're, like I said, we're here to stay if you let us in the door. We're gonna be like a tree vampire.
Any other questions from the commission? You have any?
Okay, well, thank you
All
very
right.
much. So what I will do next is I will work with David on the logistics of the trees that we're talking about and the next phases. And then if we could have your support for the CBT grant coming up, we'll be asking for a letter of support for that. So, all
Okay.
right, thank you
Thank
so much.
you.
Bye. Have a great Christmas.
Yes,
Thank you, you too.
So if it's okay with the commission, I kind of want to get these action items done first before the reports. So next up, we have the Charter Committee, Article 3 amendments. So Kenneth, or is there, we have someone here? Oh, you're so quiet. Well, welcome.
Evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners,
Good evening.
City Manager, City Clerk, residents. For those who don't know, I'm Ron Waters, and I am the current Chair of the Charter Committee. Hope everybody had a good Turkey Day.
Yes.
As you well know, we've been working on this charter for a while. And before you, we have Article 3, and we would appreciate you to accept it as written. We spent a lot of time contemplating what's good for the residents of the city, looked over the old charter, and made our additions, amendments. So at this time, hopefully you can accept it.
I went through this already, so.
Yes. Yeah, yes. So if I may, Mayor? So as a reminder, we last had this on the agenda in an August work session where we had the Charter Committee present the article. We had some Q&A and discussion. We forwarded this to, we agreed that by consensus that we liked the content of the revisions to Article 3 and forwarded it to the city attorney for legalese, content remaining the same. And so the copy that the commission is looking at now is that version, which includes the agreed-upon changes that we've agreed upon in informal consensus with the city attorney's technical edits. So this is a final copy.
Is this the same one, excuse me, the same one that you and I discussed?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Any questions or concerns from the commission?
No, I'll just, if I can, Mayor.
Sure.
Say that, again, the Charter Committee has been working on this for at least 6 years, 7 years, a long time. This day is a long time coming. We've got some new members to the committee, and they have been going like gangbusters. I mean, when there are holidays, this committee has continued to meet. So, so yeah, great job. This is, I've sat in on a number of their meetings, so, I see how the process works and how they come to a consensus on points of this article, or the entire article. I know you all are going through every article, and this has been a whole lot of hard work, so thank you. I know there are a number of members of the committee here in attendance, and I just want to say publicly to you all, thank you for your work.
So how many-
Actually, it's been like a tossed salad when we meet, and sometimes we meet and we don't speak to each other for a few days. Because we're bouncing our
Yeah,
ideas,
of course.
we're looking at the old one,
Yeah,
and then someone will call you, somebody call you, and by the time we get to the next meeting, okay, we're good, just leave the croutons out. Just leave the croutons out altogether, you know. But it's been since 2018. We did have a break during the pandemic,
yeah.
but I can't stress enough the support of the committee, because of course, you know, we're all volunteers. And a lot of us still have active lives. It's been a little tough.
Yes,
It's been a little tough.
And if I may,
Sure,
Mayor,
sure.
I mean, this is, once we vote on this, this is a massive step in the right direction. And I want to acknowledge the hard work that went into putting this together. The brainstorming of, you know, bouncing ideas off of each other, it shows with the edits that we have. And with everyone's busy lives, I know it's not hard organizing a group of adults, right, with full lives and jobs. And even you and I trying to connect
Right.
and get this on the agenda has been, it's taken some time. So much appreciated, and this is a great step in the right direction. So thank you for being a part of making this happen.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Everybody's good?
Yes.
Well, thank you for your hard work, the committee. We appreciate it. We definitely appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah. So could I get a motion for the approval of the Charter Committee Article 3 amendments?
I can take that.
Sure.
Vice Mayor Gomez moved that the City Commission approve the Charter Committee's Article 3 amendments and direct the city attorney to prepare resolutions enacting the Charter Committee's recommended changes, amending the charter for the commission's review.
Could I get a second?
I, Commissioner Janifer, second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 4-0. Yes,
Very well done.
sure. See, I'll stand up so people can see the work.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your work. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Right before the end of the year.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. Christmas. Okay. Where did I leave my agenda card? So the next agenda item, or action item, is Chief here? So while we're waiting for the chief, let's, did the commission have a chance to look at the minutes?
Yes.
So could we get a motion to approve the minutes from November the 7th and November the 12th and the 26th.
Commissioner Harcourt moved to approve the minutes from November 7th, 12th, and the 26th.
Could I get a second?
Commissioner Tillman, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0.
Mayor, if I can just say
Sure.
a quick comment. So I just want to say, thank you to Kenneth on the actual, recap of the agenda. I've been asking for that for a long time, and I think that's very helpful to the residents to give that recap to the residents. I mean, that's what people really want to know. We meet a lot and we meet long. And I think that recap helps the residents kind of understand the process of what's going on here and kind of can, follow along with us when they are not available to be here in person. So thank you for that, and I appreciate that.
Thank you for that, Commissioner Tillman. So if the chief is ready, so the first one is the ordinance amendment, the stop sign camera.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, residents, good evening. Today I'm here to put forth to you, present to you the ordinance for the stop sign enforcement program. Before we do that, first, we're going to look at the ordinance, same ordinance, but with section 17-18, 17-9 of the ordinance, we're gonna have to repeal and replace. There's some sections in the original ordinance that were there that need to, wording that needs to be changed out and removed, so that's what, you'll see the two ordinances there. The 17-19, that's what it does, it changes, it's actually section C in the overall ordinance that will be changed out and correcting that language in there. So that's not really a heavy hitter one. And then we'll be presenting the ordinance section 17-18, which then is the enhancement of the ordinance, adding in the provision that allows the stop sign enforcement within the school zones within the incorporated city of District Heights.
I don't see it.
I'm still trying to find it.
I don't see it
I
either.
got it.
Oh, it's up there.
I'll roll it. I'll pass
Oh, I know where it is. Okay, we have so much stuff.
it. This is 17.
Because we came out of order of the agenda.
That's 17-9 with the changes.
Okay. Yeah.
You still see it?
And this is the.
I don't see it
this is
here. It's not part of it.
This
There's
is,
one.
this
the-
one.
This is.
Oh,
I wonder if we can just. Mr. City Manager, can we
It's
use
not part
this
of this
one to just
report.
sign? Okay, so we can use this one.
Just this one.
This is the meeting, so we can use that to just
Okay,
since we
thank you.
and the
Oh, wait.
other one we can use to repeal.
You can look at it first.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
put it in the
they're,
middle. We can
they're
both-
presented as two separate things because they're two separate actions. So the first is the repeal and replace to remove the, I believe, prohibitive language. And then the second one is to insert a new section, basically doing what the chief said, which is to enable us to conduct enforcement actions. So they're
But you
two
all-
ordinances doing the same thing.
Okay, but we can sign these.
Correct.
Oh,
Right,
oh,
okay, go ahead.
oh.
Okay.
Okay, so while we're doing that, you want to go to the contract award Enterprise Fleet?
Certainly.
There's a, if I may, there's a motion to introduce,
All right.
Oh,
and then it'll go into effect at the next city meeting.
where's,
Oh, she pays you the paper.
let me see it.
Here it is. Yeah, you got it. You got it.
To introduce, I don't see it.
No, not the introduction.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
We need one to repeal,
Okay.
and we need one to.
I have the motion. Okay.
Yeah.
Is this one?
So we need want to repeal 17.9 and want to
Is this
introduce.
for the sign? This is the one you want us to sign?
17.9.
Repeal and then introduce. We
And it's really 17.9, Section C, actually, the more
Section C.
Section C
Repeal
is
that
where the,
language.
Section C of what?
Section C of the, of 17.9.
Repeals, like,
Okay.
So it's going to be Charter 17, Article 1, Section 17.9.
Okay. Move to repeal Section C of 17.9. That's it?
Yeah, and you can say Chapter 17, Article 1.
Okay.
Chapter 17, Article.
So this is after you do.
I do the repeal first, correct? Okay. Vice Mayor Gomez moved to repeal Section C of 17.9 of Chapter 17, Article 1.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Could I get a second?
Commissioner Harcourt, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. And so we want to,
And this next motion is going to be to adopt this new, the new ordinance that will go under Chapter 17, Article 1, Section 17-18.
Okay, so we're not doing the 2024-11 stop sign camera ordinance?
You could use that language to take them as a pair.
Okay.
Yeah.
oh, okay.
So can I
Yeah,
take
so
that?
collectively,
It'll-
they are, they're ordinance DH 24-11. There's two actions.
But I
so-
can use this language?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Okay.
Can I take that, Madam Mayor?
Sure, sure.
I, Commissioner Harcourt, move that the City Commission approve the introduction of DH 2024-11 stop sign camera ordinance.
Could I get a second?
Commissioner Janiford, second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. Okay.
And just to keep you up on dates, so next, we have to wait until the next session with the county council. They also have to have approval of will replace our stop camera. So that, I think we're waiting on next agenda in January to get their approval of will replace our stop sign cameras as part of their new legislation. So,
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Is it something else I need to sign?
I thought you said
It's one.
It's one more.
it was one
It's
more.
two.
It was
It
a
was
two?
two.
Okay, we only signed one. What's that one?
That's same? Oh, you all got to sign? Oh.
Okay, you can get started with the enterprise fleet.
yes, so today we're going to be presenting the enterprise fleet in our pursuit to make our money grow and be a good steward of the residents' money here. Come across what's called the Internet Fleet Management Program. This is with their enterprise rental car company. What they do for us is they will lease us a certain amount of vehicles, police vehicles is what we're referring to for this particular matter, but it can actually translate to any type of vehicles the city needs. This instance, we are looking at 4 vehicles. We're looking at two police Ford Interceptors, 1 Chevy Tahoe, and we're possibly looking at the Transit Ford van, the 350 passenger van for the city to use as well. What this program does, it allows us to put a certain amount down and then lease for the next 4 years these vehicles and then trade in, again, after those 4 years are up, to keep our fleet up to date and on an ongoing basis. So what you see now is you'll see it has our list of the vehicles we need, the cost for each, and our initial 1-year first cost is going to be a little over $100,000, it's $104. That incorporates the vehicles and outfitting for the vehicles, which is kind of the most expensive part of vehicles, is the outfitting. So they're able to roll that cost. We have to pay 50% of our outfitting costs up front. That's why year 1 is so hard, and then subsequently for the next 3 years after year 1, we'll be paying $66,780 for the next 4 years for those vehicles. If you could scroll down to a little bit, Kenneth, or someone can you scroll down a little bit. Where our cost savings comes in will be our resale value and the total equity we have in those vehicles after those 4 years. So if we want to trade in those vehicles, those 4 vehicles will be worth total about almost $70,000 when we get done with them. And we can use that $70,000 as a down payment to start our next set of vehicles, whichever they may be, if we're going to reset those, keep those 4 on for another 4 more years, or if we're going to trade out aging other vehicles in our fleet, we then can use that total amount to switch over into that. So there are a lot of programs. Departments actually opt into this program, large departments. When I first learned this program, it was at the Chiefs Conference in Ocean City, the MML Chief Conference, where the chief of Rockville and a deputy chief of Wicomico County, they both told us how large the department is and how aging the fleet was. They were able to actually, basically overnight, go to brand-new fleets, to brand-new vehicles overnight with this type of program, and you get more bang for your buck. So traditionally, if we spent that $400,000, we probably get 2 vehicles, and that's not outfitted or anything else. With this, we're actually getting 4 vehicles and a much-needed van the city requested for that $100,000. So we're able to expand our fleet, and we'll be able to do that again across multiple levels. So we see that this program, and this is the starter program, with the help of Mr. Street here, we decided to do just this small number of the fleet to see if this program is working for us, and then if it works for the police department, we'll be able to expand it to public works too. And also helps with a lot of things on the police side. When I first came, we had a very aging fleet. We had to spend a lot of our ARPA dollars to replace that. Now the ARPA dollars are drying up. Moving forward, we want to make sure we keep on top of having that nice-looking fleet and saving us costs on repairs. The reoccurring cost is very doable. It's $66,000 per year over the next 3 years after our initial down payment, which is very reasonable within our budget to keep a nice, healthy fleet. In this, we've also incorporated the maintenance package. It's actually $6 a month to be in this network. What this entitles us, it gives us 200 certified maintenance shops anywhere throughout the state of Maryland that our officers can drop the vehicle off, and they will take care of 100% everything and then bill us. So they'll take care of if we take it in for oil change, and the mechanic's saying, hey, you need oil filters and this and that, whatever. Enterprise will say, no, we're not ready for that. Just do what we came here for and send the car back, which helps us a lot because that upsell is always the thing that we don't want to waste our time on. So that really helps. And those 200 mechanic shops across Maryland is really helpful. We have officers who live in the incorporated city and throughout, so that saves time on them dropping the car off or picking it up, going home, coming to work. Overall, I did my research along with Mr. Street, and we will see some cost savings maybe year 2 or 3, right? That will probably benefit. Initially, I would say being able to spend this amount of money and then get a newer fleet initially helps with our retention program. We have officers who come out the academy who may get a brand new car, which is kind of, in the police world, unheard of, right? You come out the academy, you may get that beater in the background, right? So this is a good recruiting tool. We can also use that other larger agencies are using as well. And overall, I think this would be a great benefit for the city, for multiple departments, and we can keep adding on and see how it goes from there.
So when we get our vehicles retrofitted, and then we get the paint job on it, and so that's not a big deal when we trade it back in?
No, that's part of the resale. So we would actually can reuse some of those equipment on those vehicles, which we normally use, depending on if it's newer light bar and if they didn't, it's compatible with the next vehicle. We definitely reuse our radios. Those are very expensive. Those are something we can pass down. A few other things, ram bars, cages, sometimes the bins, the big lock box that go into vehicles. Some of those can transfer down from year to year vehicles. So we're able to save costs on outfitting, depending on which
What about the
vehicles we're going with.
decals on the side?
That's something we'll have to replace every time we get a new vehicle.
Okay. But they accept that?
So those come off. So we
okay.
wrap our vehicles right now. So we have the
Okay.
older ones are painted.
Okay,
These newer ones, we're getting them wrapped.
okay.
And I should note, the preliminary upfit is included in the year 1 payment.
Uh-huh.
And so we're receiving complete upfit cars, which is an efficiency over, the way we had been operating previously, which is sourcing the car and then, trying to source a good upfitter. And so we're really, in terms of cost savings, the dollar figures are still on the large side. However, saving on overhead costs for upfitting and then savings on just administrative overhead for maintenance is gonna be, I think, is really gonna drive our net benefit of pulling into this type of program.
Yeah.
And what type of cars is it?
So the first two are 2024 Ford Intercepts police utility vehicles. Those will be for marked police cars. There'll be one Chevy Tahoe 2024. We believe that's going to be our K-9 vehicle. There's going to be a 2024 Transit 350 passenger van that will be multi-use between, if the police department has a training, or rec and the senior department has been requesting for some of their stuff. So that will be used throughout the city, throughout different departments.
And how many people with seats?
I think that's a 15-passenger one.
Oh, really?
That's wonderful.
Oh, that solves our
Yep. Brand new.
transportation problems.
Right, and that's what we thought about.
For
when
activities.
We were able to, we had some extra money in there, and we've seen the need for it, and talking over Mr. Street, we're able to roll that in there and share some of our money with the city to get that much needed van that we've been looking for. So you can use.
Tamiko, are you happy about that? That's good.
YSB can use that too.
Yeah.
Take some
Oh,
trips.
yeah, everybody can use it. We can get in it, right?
That's right, yeah, so it's so I think that was a good deal to put that in there for a decent price too,
And
so.
if I can, staff between recreation, senior services, and of course the chief, did a lot of due diligence on the van issue. So staff has not forgotten about it since it came up initially from the commission. We just engaged in a rather lengthy internal debate as the best way to do it. When this opportunity presented itself a couple of months ago, for the van at least, it was a no-brainer because, our concern with prior vans and prior buses have been sourcing the maintenance, maybe getting an older model.
Yeah.
And so here, we're guaranteed a new model with a maintenance network. And so our comfort level in taking, residents, activity participants, campers all over the state for activities increases a lot.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, Mr. Street hit that right on the head. We definitely did our due diligence. Tamiko was down my throat and Jeff every day about kicking my butt about the vans there. So that definitely,
That's
with this type of
good.
maintenance program, which I know we're very big on, Street hit it right on the head. We have a good, reliable van that we can safely transport our residents in.
Yes, great. Okay. Any, I'm sorry, are you finished?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Any questions from the commission, Vice Mayor? Sounds good, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it sounds good to me. I mean, I think, $66,000 yearly after year one for 4 vehicles,
Yeah.
plus maintenance, and then the outfitting that's niche to police is great value to us. So kudos.
Okay. So, we have a motion? It's item 14. So if the commission is ready, I can take a motion.
Ooh, I want it.
You want that? Take it.
I, Commissioner Harcourt, move that the City Commission approve the contract award to Enterprise Fleet and direct staff to write the Sourcewell contract in amount not to exceed $104,280 in year one costs and $66,780 in recurring costs. I further move that the City Commission amend the city's ARPA spending plan to include the purchase and lease of police vehicles.
Could I get a second?
Commissioner Tillman, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
For the commission's benefit, if I may.
Sure, motion carries 4-0.
Sorry.
Okay.
That largely closes out your ARPA obligations. And so,
Oh, good.
We have no more money in the office.
when we have money, we're just committed to spending all of
I
it.
know.
And so this will go under contract this month, meeting the
Okay.
obligation deadline. That
Right.
leaves us with about $60,000 allocated for police vehicles. And so, as you may remember, earlier this year, you approved the ability to ride two existing, I think, state contracts, Pennsylvania and Maryland, for two dealerships. And so that leaves us with a little bit of balance on one or two remaining vehicles, depending on how creative we can get, to absorb. So we'll fully expend that ARPA allocation and then, probably absorb a little bit in the operating budget. But I would rather do that than run the risk of underspending it or under-allocating.
Oh, yeah, we're not giving any money back.
And so with this approval, and when we execute it later in the week or next week, you'll be fully obligated.
Outstanding.
Oh, okay, great.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations, I like that. Okay, now we can go back to the department reports. Treasurer Cecilia Smith-Budd.
He's on 3 minutes now, right?
Don't do it with that.
Good evening, Mayor Miller, Commissioners, residents, and staff. You have been provided a copy of the Treasurer's Report for the month of September. At the November meeting, you were given a Treasury Report
This is nice.
that was quarterly. Going forward, the reports will be monthly for the revenue expenses as they have been in the past. The format that has been given to you is representative of how we'd like to visualize our expenses moving forward, hoping that it will give you a clearer picture of where the city's standing while still providing a breakout of the numbers and the percentages. Josh and myself continue to work with the OpenGov staff in learning the various modules that now make up our accounting process. I share this as we are still inputting data
We're not in there.
for October and November through this training process. At this point, data has been entered but not yet validated. Once validated, the reports will be updated. QuickBooks grouped all of our funds together in its reports. OpenGov allows us to have different funds. For instance, the ARPA money that we were just talking about will have its own fund and be reflected in the reports as we put them out going forward. I will honestly tell you, I did not do that in my learning curve of the current report that you have, so it is only representing those numbers from the general fund. A reminder that the audit has been extended through December 31st, and I have a meeting scheduled with the auditors tomorrow to get an update as to where we are to ensure we're on track for that. And since the Senior Center is up and running and offering programs, we are now able to request reimbursement for the Department of Aging grant.
Oh,
And
okay.
that was the information that was given to you earlier this evening, and so we're moving forward with that.
And that was the 800,000?
Yes, yes, ma'am. And that is my report. Please accept it as presented. If you have any questions, I am happy to answer.
So just for the record, could you just give us the totals on the revenue, the way you have it broken out on the totals?
Okay, so for September 2024, revenue, total revenue was $149,663.98. Again, numbers need to be updated because we haven't validated all of the information. So moving forward, you will be able to see the amounts and then the percentages of the budget that has been spent already. As for the expenses, that number is $666,260 for the expenses for the month of September. And again, I want to say I believe that amount is overstated.
Okay,
And I don't believe it, I know it's overstated due
Okay.
to the how we are entering, I don't want to go down into the weeds with, but entering information in OpenGov. There is a date for the period, and then there's a date for the date I'm actually entering. And I fear that
okay.
I'm entering information in November and December, and it's, yes,
Right.
it's so.
Okay.
We're gonna, as they
Okay.
say, it's all gonna come out in the wash, and so
Okay.
we'll have all of the numbers validated in open.gov, and then the reports will be updated to reflect on
It'll
that.
catch up at the
Catch
beginning of the year.
Yes,
Yep.
yes.
Okay, that's fine.
For the commission's benefit, it is in fact catching up as we speak. And so what Cecilia is doing and what I'm sharing on the screen is she is working with the vendor and Mr. Fitzgerald to validate the data that's been entered and then re-reconcile it. And so it's captured, and now she's just going through and cleaning up the transactions, and then getting technical support to help clean up the transactions.
And then it'll slide into the proper.
Into the proper
Correct.
periods, exactly.
Oh, okay.
And so what we think we're seeing is a disjoint between proper fund accounting and then just sort of all-in-one pot accounting that we used previously. And so we're kind of having to sort that out so that every expenditure is allocated properly.
Okay, that's fine. So do I still need to sign something tonight?
No, like I said, I have a caller to Pam Seidel who met
Okay.
with David and I early in the year and gave us all the paperwork, and as I said, it's kind of
Yeah,
unclear.
Right.
So I want to make
Okay.
sure before we sign anything, because it has to be signed, notarized, and the city attorney also needs to sign it.
okay, just let me know.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions for Cecilia? Nope. Okay, thank you. So, Chris is not here. Let's just keep going. Tanisha Turner. Communications. Okay. All right.
All right, good evening once again, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commission, and residents. Please accept my report as submitted. So pretty much this is a overview of the District Heights Cares initiative in which we started last year. This initiative is an initiative that we started that in a sense has bridged the gap, that's fostered a positive relationship between our elected officials, staff, residents, and our schools, our local schools. One thing that, in going out in the community, you always hear, oh, we never see the elected officials except when it's election time. So this right here is proof that our mayor and commission are very hands-on. First, we started off, we kind of launched this program last year at District Heights Elementary School. So we were up there pretty frequently. And in doing so, it allowed us to be able to kind of gauge what we were able to do, to what capacity. And then it allowed us to venture out to other schools in which we have serviced District Heights Elementary School, North Forestville, and Longfield Elementary. So I have a running list of, of events and things that we have done throughout the year, starting with January. And no, I won't read off everything, because if not, we'll probably be here for a pretty long time. But but I will just go through and just pick a couple items off. January, we had a donation of the buddy benches at District Heights Elementary School. That was pretty much just an initiative. They had reached out to us and said, hey, we have some students that, during recess, they kind of sit by themselves, and we want to be able to encourage other students or adults to come over and kind of, speak to those students and, make friends. So Commissioner Tillman actually went out along with Public Works, and they painted the benches there. Officer Campbell as well, he would go out and he would go out for weekly visits at the school, in which he's done karaoke, which that's what happened in February. We did karaoke. All of the elected officials went out and had lunch with the students in February. Mayor Miller, Chief Tarpley, and our community partners in Style and Food for Thought had a backpack and coat donation. Those backpacks and coats have gone a long way. Just yesterday, when I went up to the school to pass out invitations, there was a student who had a backpack on, and there was a coat inside of the backpack, and I know you all know how freezing it was yesterday. And the young lady had on just a real thin hoodie. So one of the adults said, well, hey, where's your jacket? And she said, well, I don't have one. We said, well, who's the jacket belong to in your backpack? She said, oh, my younger sibling. So they were able to go back into the school and give that lady a jacket, the young lady a jacket, because she didn't have one. In March, one of my favorite field trips, Commissioner Janifer actually went on that field trip to the Maryland Science Center in Baltimore. In doing so, Commissioner Janifer was able to connect with one of the students. And because obviously with you all showing up as much as you have developed that trust with the students. So one of the students shared some information with Commissioner Janifer in which we were able to get back to the school and talk to one of the admins to get some resources for that student that they didn't know about. They didn't know that the student was struggling at home just with resources, but Commissioner Janifer just had a connection with that student, so she felt comfortable enough just to talk to her about what was going on, so we were able to provide some resources to help that family out. The Easter egg hunt at North Forestville, that was pretty fun. It was one of their PBIS events. The ice cream social, Chief Tarpley attended ice cream social North Forestville in April. Commissioner Tillman attended the school store in which he was helping, teaching some of the kids how to count their money, and he also donated a pair of Jordans. So the students were able to, one of the students actually was able to purchase the shoes, so that was actually pretty cool. In May, we actually attended the Perfect Attendance celebration in North Forestville. Commissioner Janifer, Commissioner Tillman, I did Career Day, still the same thing, school store. Vice Mayor Harcourt at the time, but actually attended the Career Day at Francis Scott Key Elementary School. And the elected officials, you all attended the Wiz Play at District Heights Elementary School. June, we hosted the kindergarten and fifth grade graduation from District Heights Elementary School that was held here in our recreation department. July, summer break. Then, of course, August, we're back at it. The back to school block party, which we partnered with our city partner in Style. And then on the first day of school, we had elected officials doing a welcoming at District Heights Elementary School in North Forestville. We also had some residents. I know Mr. Waters was there in attendance as well, Chief Tarpley, Public Works. In September, Grandparents' Day, Vice Mayor Gomez actually spoke at Grandparents' Day at District Heights Elementary School. Yeah, she just pretty much just talked about the importance of grandparents because we know in our community, a lot of our children aren't being cared for by their grandparents. So also in attendance was Commissioner Janifer, Commissioner Tillman, Mayor Miller, Chief Tarpley, and our community partners in Style. Donated uniforms to District Heights Elementary School, North Forestville, and Longfields Elementary Schools.
In District Heights.
District Heights Elementary School, North Forestville, and Longfields. Our community engagement night at North Forestville Recreation Department actually showed up there in September and October. Then we started our weekly read-alouds at District Heights Elementary School, along with North Forestville as well. Teresa Williams, the Recreation Department, attended the Hispanic Heritage Month celebration. Let's see, okay, Lieutenant Waters and Sergeant Govan attended the Harvest Fest at Longfields Elementary. Also in which we donated pumpkins because they had a activity for the students there and were in need of pumpkins. In November, the month of November is just pretty much a lot of read-alouds at North Forestville, District Heights Elementary School, in which in doing so, you all have definitely, I always say that our mayor and commission are hands-on. I tell people that all the time. And that's what I feel like that separates our elected officials from a lot of other people. And I do want to commend you all, Chief Tarpley, Recreation Department, Public Works, our residents, senior services. We actually are hands-on with our schools and in nourishing them. And I get a lot of positive feedback from the staff, parents, students. I love hearing the students say, "Oh, I remember you," every time you all walk into the school building. Also, Commissioner, I'm sorry about this, Commissioner Harcourt, he did a virtual read aloud in which he was an astronaut, and the kids absolutely loved it. They were so tickled. Mayor Miller read to the the pre-K students, in which she sat there and gave each individual child a hug before she left, because they like swarmed her when she walked in, so. Okay, so in saying all of that, I just want to thank you all just for showing up, because that really, I mean, you can just see the impact in our schools, in our community, and it's definitely felt. And they have a list of donations on there as well. I won't go over that, but we have a list of donations. I have left some things off just because, just for discretion of,
Right.
our schools, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any questions?
Any questions from the commission
I just have a
or
comment.
comment?
I just want to say thank you to you and all your hard work, because you took the initiative to actually start this. This is yours. This is your baby.
Yeah,
And you brought this to us, so kudos to you.
Thank you.
yes, thank you. Any other comments?
Yes.
Yes. I want to second that. I mean, this is, you have been a really good, made a good contribution to us. And you got us all involved, and I thank you for that. The schools are happy because you are there. And I think when you walk in that building, the kids know that, Ms. Turner's there, and, she gonna bring us there, and it's like, that's what we really want. We want all of our board members, our school board members, to realize that this is how you interact with your school system, and this is how you get involved with your community, your school. So we're setting the standard for all municipalities to do the same thing around their schools. So thank you for that. And, you're leading the way, and hopefully every municipality have a Turner. You know what I'm saying?
They wish.
So there you go.
They wish, they're not there.
And I would just like to add, I know you stay on each and every one of our phones,
Yes.
reminding us of these upcoming events,
Yes.
asking us, and it's much appreciated. It's much appreciated, just keeping on us and keeping us on task. Looking back at this list of things that we've done over the last year, I mean, it's a lot. We've really done a lot, and you've coordinated, I mean, all of
It
it.
looks
So
great.
just thank you so much.
Yeah, sorry, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Any other comments?
Well, I can't be the only one not seeing anything. So I will just say that we appreciate you. We appreciate all the things that you do, and I know these schools appreciate what you do. And you now have 4 schools that
Yep,
you're
working on
working
number 4,
with.
yes.
So take your vitamins. I mean, it's all fun, and it's all for those children. I mean,
Absolutely.
that's our future right now.
Yes.
They're our future. So thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Thank you for pushing us. Okay, recreation, Jeffrey Taylor.
Good evening, Mayor, Commission, ladies and gentlemen, city residents and guests. Please accept the report from the Recreation Department as submitted. There are about 15 bullets here, but I will only highlight several for the sake of time. Starting with the meeting with Monumental Sports on November the 1st. This is our way in working with Mr. Street on hopefully a future collaboration with the Mystics and/or the Wizards in the upcoming future. November the 2nd, Harvest Festival. November the 6th, and on November the 20th, we had the Washington Commanders Marching Band rehearsals. November the 11th, of course, we performed our annual Veterans Day responsibilities. November the 15th, although we were a little late, we did a big catch-up with the Fiesta Place Garden and Terry Spate for a trip to the Christmas light show at Longwood Gardens. That trip is still accepting the 25th, and a Employee PG Youth Career Connect Community Open House on November the 26th. And last but not least, December 16th, be prepared. We're getting ready to start our Rec Desk soft launch for registrations for classes, passing out key fobs, as well as an official launch date of January the 13th, 2025. This will be our way of not only obtaining very much needed data throughout the city, throughout the community, but also organizing. As you see, I conveniently left off the class numbers because that report will be produced every month from Rec Desk for everyone to see. So that'll be a great way of hearing about the registration for classes, events as well. And that concludes the report for the Recreation Department, and I'm available for whatever questions. Thank you.
Any questions from the commission?
Just a comment.
Sure, Commissioner Tillman.
Yeah, I just want to say bravo to you guys. You know, I know during the holiday season, you guys work nonstop. So, you know, I just want to say thank you to the rec department just for all the great work that you guys are doing and all the events that you're about to do and you're planning and throughout the whole year, you know. So appreciate you guys as well as everybody who plays a contribution to that effort. And then, you know, say thank you.
Okay.
And happy holidays, you know, to you. Happy holidays.
Any other comments?
Yeah, I just want to say that Thanksgiving was the bomb.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
The food was good.
I hope everyone enjoyed the meal.
Yeah, it was great. Our seniors love hanging out,
Yes.
eating and hanging out.
And dancing.
Dancing.
I was about to
Line
say, and
dancing.
Lots
dancing.
of dancing.
Just fellowshipping, it's great. And I really enjoyed the employee Prince George's, the
Yes.
youth, was it called Youth Career?
Youth Career Connections.
Connections. It's a great idea, and I really want us to expand in partnering with them, because they had employers and coaches there that are assigned to high schools
Yes.
to kind of help with job opportunities.
Yes.
Prince George's Community College was there. I mean, I did speak with, I can't think of her name, the young lady who spearheaded it.
Mrs. Williamson.
Williams, yeah, she did an amazing job. So we're gonna connect again to see if we could launch some type of workshops and programs around the youth. Other than having open gym, we need to do
Yes.
more to get them focused on a career, trade, college. So she was open for that.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
They already started reaching out to Mr. Street, the
Okay.
Restoration Department, so we're getting ready to start laying out the
Good.
schedule for workshops in 2025. So
Nice.
Because we have that
they
nice
love our
lab.
location.
Everybody loves our location. But we're having that lab there, and we need to get more use out of it.
Yes.
And I want to thank Senator Alonzo Washington for at least getting it started.
Yes.
So, but thank you for that.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So we'll see you, Saturday, right?
Yes, for
The
our
Christmas
holiday
bazaar
bazaar
and the tree lighting.
And tree lighting, yes. Saturday from 2 to 5 p.m. is the Holiday Bazaar. Please stop by. And the tree lighting starts at 6 p.m.
Yeah. So,
Is the
And again,
bazaar
question.
in the gym?
Yes.
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, right upstairs. Got some really nice vendors.
Do you have
I
a
have a
comment?
I have a question.
Yes.
Since this report's on, your report is for November, I just wanted to ask, since next Friday is the senior
Christmas
holiday luncheon, is registration full for that?
It's getting close.
Okay, you
Getting
hear that,
close.
residents? It's getting close.
Yes, people call every day.
Okay. So what's the number they're calling on?
301-336-5633.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor.
We'll be happy to serve you.
Okay. Thank you.
301-336-5633.
All righty,
Quick question.
sure.
It's not on Eventbrite, right?
Yes, yes, it is currently, but Mr. Street
This is
has.
this is the last one we're gonna use. So we've been working on sort of what we're gonna do when the new year opens to address the concerns about geofencing, ease of access, and not adding new barriers. Great.
Yeah,
Okay.
Thank you.
all right,
I like that.
thank you.
Hey, thank you as
All
well.
right. Okay, Tamiko Thomas, Senior Services.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, distinguished residents, and guests. Please accept the report for November as submitted. The easiest way for me to get through some of the things that we try to accomplish this month is to read some of the highlights, but not all of them. One of the things that we had to do immediately is to address some of the things with the building that continue to be an issue for us, but we're able to tackle them, and I'll get to them a little later in the report. To start off, we continue to expand our partnerships with folks like the University of Maryland. We have a food demonstration program to teach seniors healthy eating. So we landed their relationship with them, and their first food demonstration will actually be on the 18th of December. In terms of our congregate meal program, we also are very close to landing that, which will allow us to have affordable meals in the kitchen area for the seniors starting 2 to 3 months from now. Their final walkthrough is actually going to be tomorrow at 11 o'clock with the director of the program, Ms. Godwin. In terms of our footprint regarding the kids, I work with communication. I'd like to thank them for helping me get in contact with District Heights Elementary. They're coloring cards for seniors that we're going to pick up, I think, at the end of this month. They're going to color 80 to 100 cards. Thanks to contact through the communications department, I was able to get that going and move that forward, so thank you to them. And our outreach has started in terms of our footprint, trying to get out folks streetwise and get our flyers out, going beyond social media, because some of our folks are not on social media. We cover 8 areas already with our flyers and our information. We had our monthly meeting with ARP, and we also had a minor holiday or small holiday celebration with the Concord Civic Association. They came to play bingo with us, so I hope to grow that relationship to help us get our numbers up during the course of all the programming. In addition to our SAGE program, we landed the Brain Fitness program. So we talked about it last month. We actually landed, and it's going to start in February. So I'm excited about that. Some of the things that we had to move forward with were some of the building issues, including the elevator, the HVAC system, and the front door. We now have standing service contracts with them, so we have issues in the future that'll be taken care of rather quickly. And that concludes my report, and I'm open to any questions.
I have one added comment about the maintenance items.
Okay.
So, one of the issues that we've run into, and this is because of the way that the general contractor left us, is, as we expected, we're getting stuck with some maintenance items that perhaps we should not have.
Right.
And so I just wanted to put a reminder out there for the commission and the residents, we did retain funds to deal with it and are dealing with it with the surety. And so our first avenue is always to go to the initial installer for warranty type work. So in some instances, we've been successful in doing that, and in other instances, we have not. And so we will immediately then go to a provider. Mr. Thomas has spearheaded that and kept basically our receipts for it, and that is gonna then go back as a, effectively a back charge to the surety to say, hey, this was supposed to be covered under warranty, we handled it, we're expecting a credit in this amount, here's our stuff. And so, I do wanna just say, as we're 3-4 weeks into full opening, we've had a couple of instances with that come up, and each time, the staff that's down there has, handled it as quickly as they reasonably could have to get us back up and running.
And the last thing I'd like to mention in terms of our intergenerational efforts, I'm working with Ms. Bryna Sharoni from Bishop McNamara, and she's making care packages for veterans. So we're gonna give those care packages to a group called the Combined Retired Military Association around the 18th of December. So we've already worked that out.
Oh, that's good.
That concludes my report.
Okay, any other questions, concerns?
Just a comment, go ahead. I said just a comment.
Okay.
Congratulations on the van. You know, I know you.
That's a big load. So I thank Chief for that. Trips to the Amish market here every week. So, any step closer to that is a victory.
So my question to the chief is, if we go over the capacity of 15 passengers, what are we gonna do? Get another van?
I would defer to the city manager.
Well, thank you, Tamika Thomas.
I think he was ready to give a comment on
I
what we're gonna do.
I know. Family and Youth Services, Katrina Emerson. Well, hello.
Good evening, Mayor Miller, Vice Mayor Gomez, Commissioner Harcourt, because sometimes I'm gonna switch up. Commissioner Harcourt, Commissioner Janifer, Commissioner Tillman, City Manager, City Clerk, our residents, and my coworkers, cohorts in crime. Please accept please accept my report as submitted. I do want to highlight a few things. I did talk about it at the last meeting because we were at the end of the month, but we did submit the application as the community quarterback for Track 1 for the Enough Act grant for the city of District Heights. Also, on Monday, November 18th, we hosted our county site monitor for fiscal year 2025 contract with the Agency for Contract Compliance. We have a thumbs up on that, so everything is going well for mid-year, leading into, they'll come back and do a second site visit in May for the end of the year. On Friday, November 22nd, Cherie Leonard, one of our clinicians, attended the senior bingo event to discuss the upcoming grief support group for seniors with potential attendees, just to see if they would register and how they can participate and become a part of that group. So this group actually starts on Monday. So people have an opportunity to register. We're noticing that people are not signing up, but this is a grief support group. And we would love for people to sign up because, of course, during the holidays, this is when a lot of triggers are happening for a lot of our residents. Ages 55 and above, this will take place between 10 and 11 a.m. at the Senior Center. So you can call the Bureau because the flyer actually has a QR code on it. And we understand that technology is not very senior-friendly.
Right.
So feel free to call us here at the Bureau. It's 301-336-7600, or they can call the senior building, which I'm going to give them the city's general number, and they can be transferred to Tamiko, or they can be transferred to the YSB. That is 301-336-1402.
And our front desk extension 257.
257?
Extension 257. So I have the flyers here, so if they have not seen them, this is the senior group.
Yeah,
So
we
I'll make
need
sure that you
those.
guys have a copy of that as well, so I'll leave them here in the lobby so that they'll have them. But even if they don't register and they want to show up, they can just show up.
Are you gonna have some at the Christmas bazaar?
Yes, we will have the flyer set up for them
Okay.
there.
Good.
And then lastly, the YSB, we conducted our planning meeting for the upcoming family engagement activity on Monday, November 25th. So everything is confirmed. We do have 60 attendees, so we had to close registration. So that's going to take place on Friday, December the 13th. So they're going to have the ugly Christmas sweater party, and then they're going to also do the ornament making and also making Christmas cards. Like I said before, the upcoming events, again, at 10 a.m. to 11:30 is Mondays, the Senior Center group. As of Thursday, this is the next to the last parent support group, so we're going to close it out at the third Thursday of the month. So that'll be the end of this cohort group, and they'll start back up again in February. And concurrently, the student grief group at District Heights Elementary has started, and we have 7 students that are participating.
Oh, that's good.
So yes, that's being run by Tamiko and Taylor, also known as the YSB's TNT. So I wanted to follow up with you
Commissioner Harcourt, because you had a request for me in regard to senior services or some type of support for seniors that are more so isolated, and what resources there are in the county. So
Right.
they have, Prince George's County has what they call the Warm Line. And it's a service that provides non-crisis mental health support, offering emotional assistance, companionship, and resource referrals to individuals who may be feeling isolated or need someone to talk to. So there is a number, I'm going to make sure that Kelly has it so that we can put it on the city's website. So all they have to do is just call and they'll have somebody to talk to during this season, and also resources and support. And I also looked into additional resources for social activities for seniors, and so of course they sent me to the Department of Aging, but there's a few other resources out there for virtual support groups for seniors that are unable to get out and about. So I'll make sure that that's on the city's website.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So that sounds like a flyer.
Yes, it's a lot of information,
That would
but
be
yes.
helpful because because my goal is to identify
Mm-hmm.
those shut-in seniors, because we need to make sure that we're visiting or being able
Mm-hmm.
to deliver food or whatever. So that is my goal, is we need a good list of those seniors, so we can always have someone deployed out to those
Okay,
residents.
not a problem.
Can I just add?
Sure,
There-
sure.
There are two other programs during the holidays that are specifically for seniors, and that's the Holiday Share Program
Mhm.
through the Office on Aging, and also there is a senior call check program. So if
Okay.
they can share, then they can call, both of those could be accessed through, the main number, which is 301-265-8450.
And that seems like that should be added to the flyer too.
Yeah, we should just make a list.
Just
of-
make a list
Mm-hmm.
of numbers
So when we,
and stuff.
when we do our website,
Mhm.
because we're gonna have different things for different departments, so that information could probably go on the senior.
There's
For
two
resources.
ways we're looking at approaching it, both sort of departmental administrative stuff, and then from a resident or person trying to access service perspective, how do I, get food or SNAP assistance? How do I, and so it takes it in baskets of services, not so much baskets of departments. That tends to be a little bit more
Right.
resident friendly, and so as you can see from our reports tonight, there's a lot of cross-departmental collaboration happening, particularly now that the center is open full-time. And so that's probably the tack we're gonna take with our
That's
more
right.
human-oriented departments.
That's smart.
I have a question.
Oh, sure, Commissioner Jennifer. Are you
So-
finished?
Yes, I'm done.
It might also, because it's a crossover question, once we are able to have the van on board, would the van be something that we could possibly use for some of our seniors that don't have transportation? And part of that being alone, maybe be able to provide transportation to the senior center where there's activities that are
Yes.
going on? We could provide that
absolutely.
service as well.
Yeah, I think that would be great to support, because I think it's always something that I've talked to David about, even with the youth, is them having that transportation, because we get them a lot in Woodland Springs, and they walk over and they're kind of hanging out, but they say that the recreation department is too far. And so,
my.
but we understand it's a safety issue also,
Right, that's
is
right.
that we know that we can also tell the parents that it can be a sign-on, if these kids sign on when they get on the bus, they get off the bus, so you know where your children are at that
Right.
point in time, so you know during this time. Now, if they walk off, that's something different, but the city's responsibility to support these youth and saying, hey, we got a place for you. It's cold, you can get on the bus. If it's shuttling, then you can get off the bus, come to the recreation department. So it's not a reason why you can't receive those supports. So,
Thank you.
That sounds like another planning process. But thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Any other questions, comments? Okay.
Yes.
Oh,
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. I did get your text message, but I was out of town. Happy holidays.
So I was hearing that funding bill may come back up, but I don't know, where would they find the money for the youth services? Because
A lot
I
of-
did hear that it was gonna come back.
A lot of things are coming down the pipeline, especially since we still fall under Department of Juvenile Services, and they're under a lot of fire. I did see an article
today that they are talking about the shortage of clinicians as well. By 2028, they need to hire at least 30,000 for the state of Maryland in order to accommodate those that are going out of service, that are retiring. And just specifically for therapists alone, they need to hire at least, or make sure that in service, 9,000 by 2028. And so there's issues at the board level of getting people licensed to be able to provide those services. It used to be able that you could work under someone else's license, and that's the issue that we've had with hiring. Now it's, you have to wait until you have at least your graduate license in order to start seeing clients. So there is a gap between you taking the exam and then the board also approving your license, and then you have the ability to start providing services. So it's a challenge, but a lot of the lobbyists, a lot of the organizations, of course, Maryland's Association of Behavioral Health and the Maryland Youth Justice League, we're fighting it because we do know that if they don't get the services that they need, it's just going to trickle off into your schools, your hospitals, and also into the community. So
Right.
we're working hard. So like I said, the funding is coming up, so we are gearing up because we know Lobby Day is coming up for us. So.
Yes.
It's never a dull day.
Well, thank you for your work and your
Thank you.
commitment. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? All right, well, you have a wonderful evening and happy holidays to you all. We'll see you in the new year.
We'll see you. We'll see you.
Yeah, you'll see me, but in this realm. Thank you all.
All right, thank you. Public Works, Tony Johnson.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, residents. Please accept my report. The Department of Public Works closed 16 orders during the month of November, successfully completed Limp Amnesty Day, delivered update direct mail notifications regarding leaf season pickups, completed several minor maintenance projects, and supported several citywide events. Over the course of November, DPW replaced 40 aging stop signs around the city. Some trainings were completed by myself and Kyle Timus. That was the concrete masonry online, and we both completed that. And Ms. Barnhill completed Master Winter Ops Communication, how to stay safe in holiday season, and get started with National Geospatial Open Data Infrastructure. The department is currently in management transition, and any omissions in this report are unintentional. Okay, some minor project statuses. We completed illegal dumping on Regency Parkway. That was on 11/20. Another illegal dumping on Marbury Drive. That was completed 11/27. You see the grounds were seeded and irrigation completed. That was also done at the Circle, the Clock, and at Veterans Park. The walking trails was started today as well. It should be finished tomorrow. With the speeding bumps and repainting, that should be completed next week. That should be done. Also, to go back to Regency Parkway, I had another call, so the guys went out again to clean up again today for the illegal dumping. So I'm trying to track who the property belongs to. I have a name, but I don't have a number yet. I called the county. They weren't able to help me. So I'm still trying to figure out who that belongs to.
Is it
Right about Aldi's?
This is
We've always said.
so Ms. Johnson referred this particular dumping instance to Chief Tarpley and I, and we went out and visited it yesterday. And so we're handling it with some of the recurring dumping issues that the commission is already aware of.
Okay, all right.
Marlboro Park lot cleanup and re-signing, that was completed on the 4th. And do you have any questions so far? We have some major projects, but do you want to go for those?
Yes, I will take those. So the Department of Public Works has a number of major construction or renovation projects in progress. It is they're in various stages of completion. So I'm going to give you a quick rundown, but for the benefit of the commission and the residents, we've started to use a simple color coding scheme. Green is on schedule, yellow is delayed, white is queued up, so it'll come online as soon as one other project completes. We don't have any right now, but red is obviously off track. The upper playground slide addition and landscaping on the hill is underway. It is not complete yet because of the weather. So we expect them back to button that up next week. Fiesta Place design build is on schedule, although I will just put a little alert out there. We're gonna get the change order finalized this week, so that'll include bringing down those dangerous trees. That will allow us to move forward into the construction phase of the project. My only concern there is if we don't get that change order in place within the next week, let's say, that might slide us into a delayed delivery status, and so we're kind of working through that now. The fire alarm retrofit is sort of in the same position. The city has done what it's supposed to do, our vendors have done what it's supposed to do, but we found out today that we have been sitting in permit review for about a week, and so we are going to be looking to take steps to expedite that. Particularly because this is a simple retrofit and not due to any kind of construction or improvement that we're doing to the building. 24-25 paving project, same thing, weather-related concerns. We did roll the dice a little bit with the timing to try and get it in at the end of the season. We may have a little window over the next week or two of good weather where we can knock a couple of those segments out. And so Ms. Barnhill Love is in communication with Beltway on a regular basis, and we'll get updates there. Still working on getting the municipal restroom project back on track. The RFP did close. We did a preliminary round of reviews, and we got bids, a good number of bids, but not for quite all of the areas that we needed. So what we found is we need to go back and ask or provide just a little bit more specific information before we can go to award. I expect to be able to bring you awards starting at the January meeting. And so recall that we are basically acting as our own general on this, and so we have an AIA contract that's under draft that is going to be going to the city attorney within the next week or so. I expect that, all things going the way that I've described, to move back into green status for the next report. I'm also pleased to report that our TS4 RSP, so that is your traffic, sidewalk, streets, and signage inventory RFP, the draft is complete and it is ready for release on 12/16. This is a big deal. This is a complete and total condition inventory of your streets, sidewalks, and basically everything related to safely traversing the city. This is going to inform your paving program moving forward. So the commission will have data presented on a regular basis. The commission will be able to look at that data, prioritize paving projects, and execute based off of our contract. That will go out for release on the 16th. General government and police front office renovations, we are done scoping those renovations. The reason that it's sitting in a delayed status is we have so many hours to draft RFPs, and we need to make sure that it's scoped correctly to avoid future delays. And so it's delayed, but I'm not, if I could draw green lines through it, I would, to say that it was on the edge. Veterans Park and Keeping Trail, which you were briefed on at a previous meeting, is on schedule. We are nearing the end of the planning phase. We are next meeting with the Veterans Committee to brief the project, get feedback, and then put together a final scope. That will come back to the commission in January. The next two projects queued up for when we have some space on the project calendar is gymnasium HVAC replacement. We all know that those systems are old and outdated. What we found from Pepco earlier this year in our work with various HVAC technicians is they need to go. The difficulty there is that it's a six-figure chunk of change to do it properly. So we are getting ready to do that. We have some preliminary planning in place from our work earlier in the year, but it's gonna need some more refinement, and I think we're gonna need to look at leveraging opportunities from Pepco and others for energy efficiency grants or incentives. And then the final project that is sitting in a queued status is the municipal field exterior restrooms. And so over the last couple months, you've probably noticed that we've started to do some rearranging on the back lot. And I'd like to give a thank you to Mr. Tamiko Thomas for helping me with that. And so the old and unstable sea containers have been removed. We are on track, I believe, to relocate the now empty old recreation shed to the back Public Works lot. It is gonna become the new home for our concrete, topsoil, seasonal Public Works things, so that all of those seasonal type things will be in one place. That will open up the ground for installation of the prefabricated restrooms. Utilities are already stepped down, and so our next step there is, once that, that shed is relocated, you said next week? Thursday. Once that shed is relocated, we can go back to the original scoping documents and provide the commission with a sort of 2024 cost estimate. That is also mostly program open space funded, and so not something that we're gonna have to take on the whole of, but we also know that, you know, we are storage limited. And so we have been looking at options that incorporate not just men and women's outdoor restrooms, but also prefabricated storage. And so you will see this in larger parks. You'll have one restroom on one side, another restroom on the other side, and modest but effective storage in the middle. And so we are looking at, or starting to look at, those types of options. Senior center closeout status. We have done a lot of work in this area between our consultants at Owner Rep Consulting, Mr. Thomas, and myself and the Public Works team. I won't belabor the point. I will just highlight the remaining punch list items that we are working through. The main one that we're watching and are concerned about is the water infiltration into the power conduit. We think that we have a permanent repair for that. We are now just working with Pepco to get their blessing, or at least their non-objection to the repair. Then we will effectuate the repair. Equipment trainings and turnover is something that Mr. Thomas is also helping us handle along with Mr. Fike. Some of our providers have been happy to come in and train us on the equipment that they're supposed to train us on. Others are upset about payment disputes and have unfortunately dragged us into that. Either way, we are moving forward with training in the same way that I described previously, where we will handle it with the funds that we retained and then credit it back, or request the credit, or state the credit back. The rest of the items are really button-up items. We are ordering a little bit more attic stock, so we're getting some more ceiling tiles. The ceiling tiles that we've got don't match, so we're gonna fix that. We have a couple of final plumbing fixes. We have some pressure concerns that haven't reared their head recently, but did when we first took the building over, so that's one that we're watching. And then finally, we are making sure that we have operations and maintenance manuals, full operations and maintenance manuals in place. place. And so the center is open. We have a handful of outstanding punch list items. We've resolved a large number of punch list items, thanks in large part to owner rep consulting. And we are well on our way to wrapping that up. One item that I didn't talk about in the major project status, but is senior service related, and is also construction related, is we did final sighting, locational sighting for the drain and water taps for the salon area. So we brought the successful vendor in earlier this week, went through the final sighting process, and that is still on track to be wrapped up this month. And so with that, we're looking at a January start for services, pending anything odd that we find when we break into the concrete to get to the drain line. It's a relatively straightforward project, but with that building, I would be remiss if I didn't articulate my concern to the commission. But there's a reason that we went with owner rep to advise on it, because they've been there through the entire process. They have a pretty high degree of confidence for the plan that we've moved forward with, as well as the siting location. And so I will keep the commission apprised. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions from the commission?
Just a comment.
A comment?
Yes. Happy
Commissioner
holidays
Tillman.
to you.
I have a couple questions. Two things. Maybe David can answer these. So I told you I was working out on the track about that glass on the box over the bleachers has.
The press box.
Yeah, the press box.
They're still looking for quotes. She's still getting quotes on that.
Okay,
Quotes on it.
quotes.
Mhm.
So are we looking at some
Yes.
more resilient type of material to put in that?
Yes.
Instead of just exposed glass?
Mhm.
Okay, that's good. Also, have we found bike racks for the senior center? And maybe
It's been installed.
Oh,
Yeah,
great.
It was installed. I would also, he's not here tonight, which is unusual, but I was gonna thank Mr. Bill
Okay.
for helping us pick the best location to park a bike in front of the
That's
senior center.
outstanding.
There is also, and I'm glad you asked that, we also have a bench that is also about to be placed. And so we have bike rack, new, nice, modern-looking bike rack, new, nice, modern-looking bench, as well as two very nice planters that have been added.
Oh, that's-
Please do look for more aesthetic improvements in that area.
Okay, great. That's
So
all.
I think when you came for the Thanksgiving lunch, it was there, but
Oh,
you
I
came
just
through
came
the
through the back.
building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Okay, any other questions or concerns?
I have a question.
Sure.
Um,
Commissioner.
I'm not quite sure if it was last meeting or the meeting before I inquired about the dog park and maybe some seating there,
Okay.
or I know at the gate area when dogs are kind of
Digging it up.
digging out, and I didn't know whether or not there was any update to the plan for the dog park. I know there's been some discussion about whether or not it's going to stay there in that
Right.
space, but,
Yeah.
I don't have an update for you, but I definitely can work on that.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Does anybody ever take dogs in there? I've never seen anybody in there.
Yeah,
I've seen
people go in there.
but we probably eventually need to relocate that.
Yes.
I think that would
Yes,
be a good
we definitely
idea.
do. Yeah. Any other questions for Tony? Okay, well, thank you for the report.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Last but not least. Who is it? Wait a minute, I called you up.
Tanisha did.
Oh, she did that, okay.
Yeah, it says police and code.
That would be me.
Y'all communicate, okay.
Yeah.
He's doing police and code.
Did-
Support. Good answer. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, District residents. Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, please accept my report as submitted for November 2024. In November, the District Heights Police Department responded to the following calls for service. There are as follows. We had 1 assault, 2 auto theft recoveries, 1 domestic violence call, 5 crashes, 34 vehicle impounds. We had 6 other reports. The department had a total of 5 arrests, which were 3 adult arrests and 2 warrant services in November. The department enforcement included, traffic enforcement numbers included a total of 19 stop sign violations, 7 seatbelt violations, and 26 moving violations. The department issued a total of 2,775 speed camera citations, 4 repair orders, 164 warnings issued, and 133 citations. You have to forgive some of the report here. We're lacking the technology got the best of us, so we're trying to roll out a new report for this year. We've had some issues with that, so I'm missing some numbers to include the report for very healthy report for code enforcement. I can tell you with our new 3 code enforcement officers, we have been stepping up the enforcement action. We've been streamlining a lot of our processes. We have about 80% of SmartGov up and running. It might be a little bit more than that now, where you can really pay online. You can completely put, I would say, a good, like say 80% of our most used requests for permits online now, as we move to making that a completely online process for the majority part. We'll tell you the revenue for speed camera citations. We brought in a total of $61,000. And at $61,000, District Heights received $40,047.47 of that for our speed revenue, which is also consistent with that. If you notice, our numbers actually have gone down a lot this month. I believe that is from the, in November, if you remember, we were doing our testing for our speeds, stop sign enforcements. So I believe that definitely changed people's driving habits just by the mere presence of those recording devices for that technology. So when those are in place, we should see a huge drop in those numbers consistently. November was a very good month for us, I believe. I was able to read to the children. I think you've heard that. I was doing, took a day out, got to go there. District Heights Elementary, myself and Commissioner Jennifer went there. I read to 2, was it kindergartens?
Pre-K.
Pre-K.
Pre-K?
Pre-K.
Okay. Very intelligent. They seem like kindergartens. The children, it was a good time. Got to interact with them. Was one of our favorite things to do as we keep our efforts strong in the schools, right? And trying to keep that footprint there. That's something we'll continue from here until the next year. We'd like to have an announcement to make, which is really good. As you know, in June 5th of 2024, May 31st of 2024, we had a triple shooting that took place up in the upper part of the city there, where we had 2 individuals shot and 1 14-year-old that was fatally shot, Kamaya Farrell. This week, the Prince George County Police Department announced there was a arrest in connection to her murder. So that's great. So we would like to thank the men and women of the Prince George's Police Department Investigation Homicide Unit for their diligent work. This case really, they put some real work in this case because they had very little to go on. And I'm very happy that they were able to close that case out and bring some closure to that family. And now we'll leave that to the court systems to take care of. That actually is my report for the month of November. Thank you.
Wow, that's great work, you know, when you think about the tragedies, and sometimes you don't get closure in the same year, actually. You know, it's like years later. So that's great news. Any questions or comments from the commission?
Yes, I have a comment.
Commissioner Tillman?
So one, just before and it's a tow truck. I think I told you about the tow truck that's parked like every day in Woodland Springs. So like the same spot like every day, and it's not like the official tow truck
Right,
from the
okay.
community. So that they're parked in that same spot like every day.
Yeah, the same day we talked, you said that, I reached out to Michelle and said that to her. Because that's inside on their private property, I'm giving her the opportunity to
Right.
move that, because she has a private tow company, to address the situation. If it still's not, I'll reach back out to her today and see if she needs some assistance with, from us to get that done. But it's inside on their lot, so she
Right.
has a tow truck company that comes through every night. I've seen it before.
Right.
And I'll touch base with her to see actually where that's at.
So is that the tow truck company?
No, no, no,
That's
no,
not the
no.
one, though.
It's not the one.
That's a private one.
You're correct. That's
Yeah,
completely
okay.
separate than the
That's
one she
not-
has
that's not it,
contracted.
yeah.
You're correct,
Okay,
yes.
yeah.
That's someone who I guess visits them at night.
Yeah, they visiting
Pull
the
right on that
apartment,
sidewalk.
yeah,
Yes,
okay.
sir.
All
Yep,
right.
so I'll reach back out and touch base with her on that.
Okay, all right. And happy holidays to you.
Thanks, sir. Same to you.
Any other questions, comments? Okay. Thank you, Chief.
Thanks.
Good job.
Appreciate that, Chief. Well, Kelly, while you're here, is there any comments or anything you want to say before,
Well, good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commission, residents who are still here, and everybody else who is still awake online watching the stream. Not too many updates. As we know, we have cemented the partnership with the commanders and ourselves, so I've already pushed out the press release for that. We already got some hits from Channel 4 and WTOP, but instead of having them just rush out here today for it, what we're going to do is have a media event. And I'm working on the media advisory, sending that out to our Maryland dignitaries in the media, so that on the 18th, that is already scheduled for the commanders to be here, and the mixer that is scheduled for kind of just us. It's already a controlled environment. All you guys already have that scheduled on there, so we don't have to, look at calendars before Christmas. We're inviting press to that. It is not open to the public. We're going to have something more outreach oriented for that, but this is a media event for the peoples. So we're going to do that on the 18th, and I'm working on organizing that between now and tomorrow. Working with the senior center on their flyers and, coming up with strategies on pushing out the events that they already have on their calendar, such as their Zumba and their yoga. Where my office is next door, so I can see the classes going on, and I see the seniors in their sewing class every, I can't remember which day it is, but when they're in class, and I want to see more people do that, and it is amazing how much has been happening in the building in a month. So want to definitely push that out. Of course, this Saturday is the Holiday Bazaar. I've been coordinating with the vendors to make sure that everybody has what they need, that they're promoting the event on their behalf, making sure that, their network is coming to the event as well. We have a total of 20 confirmed vendors for Saturday. Basically, we had a huge list. I know everybody was like, we have 75 people coming. No, 75 vendors signed up. I looked through it, whoever had the most complete questionnaire that was submitted. I did a little bit more research on what they were selling, make sure that it was on the up and up and ethical to sell on municipal grounds. So make sure we got some Avon ladies coming, we got some Mary Kay people coming, some jewelry. I just signed on a man who does waist bead jewelry and brass accessories, so that should be very interesting. We also have somebody who's confirmed who does self-defense vending. He sells self-defense accessories. It's a very eclectic list. So even though it's 20, it's a strong and mighty 20, and we should have a really good turnout. I also spent a good little chunk of change so that it would just be blasted on socials, Instagram, Facebook, and the like, so that we can have a good showing on Saturday. And I will be here to check in vendors, make sure everything's running. Recreation has done a phenomenal job as far as testing equipment, what's going to work, what's not going to work. I do not like to reinvent the wheel, and whatever works is going to work. But as far as logistics and strategy, that's what I've been monitoring for this event. So not an official report, but that's what I've been working on. And if you have any questions, I am here. not for long, but I'm here. I mean, nobody wants to be here past 9:30, so.
Okay, well, thank you, Kelly,
All right.
for that.
We're good?
Appreciate that.
Happy holidays,
Happy
Commissioner
holidays.
Tillman.
Absolutely, yes.
Basically.
Okay, that's all of the reports. Could I get a motion to go into closed session on a contractual matter?
Vice Mayor Gomez moved that the city commission move into closed session to discuss a contractual matter.
Could I get a second?
Commissioner Tillman, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, let's prepare to go into closed session. We good? Okay. We are back from closed session on a contractual matter. We are looking forward to our Christmas bazaar on Saturday and our tree lighting on Saturday. Are there any comments from the commission?
I do, what time is the bazaar and the tree lighting?
It starts at 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. is the it's the Christmas bazaar, and the tree lighting starts at 6 p.m.
Oh,
Just so we can make sure that everybody can make it over in time once they break down and staff can get over to the tree lighting. So we decided to do it at 6 p.m. And so the tree is up, the lights are on. I hope everyone is happy,
it's beautiful.
getting in the
It's
festive
gorgeous.
mood.
It's beautiful.
Yes. It's quiet on my right side. Is everybody?
Oh, it's
okay?
beautiful. I said yes. Oh, it is beautiful. Coming around there to see that tree, it's gorgeous.
Okay.
Mayor Miller, may I say?
Sure.
In the words of Commissioner Tillman, happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Yes.
Yes, happy
Yeah,
holidays.
happy holidays.
Thank you for the residents who are still online, for a great 2024. Thank you so much for hanging in there with us and your participation in your community. And wishing everyone a happy holidays and a very happy new year. This is our last city meeting of
Yes,
2024.
it is. So on that note, I'm asking for a motion that the commission will go into recess starting December the 6th, 2024, until, and return on January the 2nd, 2025.
Commissioner-
take that.
Oh, take it.
I'm sorry?
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I, Commissioner Janifer, move that the city commission goes into recess beginning on December the 6th and returning on January the 2nd,
In 2025.
2025.
Could I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Any other last words before I call for a motion to end the meeting?
I have just one announcement. Reminder to residents that the annual Christmas caroling will take place on December the 21st. Everyone should be meeting at the Veterans Park at 2:15. And thank you to First Baptist Church of District Heights for allowing residents and others to park at your parking lot during that time. That's all.
Is a flyer coming out for that?
It is a flyer already
Yeah.
on the website.
Okay, great.
Okay, all right.
And if I may, I just want to say happy holidays, everybody, and just remember, please just be aware of your surroundings. It is the holidays. People do get a little bit desperate. Please be mindful of your surroundings. It gets dark early. If you feel unsafe, trust your instincts, trust your gut. If you are parking somewhere, make sure somebody knows that you are there. If you don't feel safe, leave. When you pull up to get gas, lock your car. Don't leave your car running. Be mindful of your surroundings. I know that's not a note that a lot of people want to leave on, but you know, we need you here. So please be mindful of your surroundings. And happy holidays.
Anyone else? Happy holidays, everyone. And again, like Commissioner Harcourt said, be safe. Could I get a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Commissioner
Harcourt.
Tillman.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Commissioner Tillman, motion to adjourn.
Could I get a second?
Vice Mayor Gomez seconds.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Happy holidays. This meeting is over.